First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's event. My name is Fran Manti, and I am the chairman of the Middle School of the Arts Foundation Board of Directors. I want to thank Adley and all of the people, the distinguished artists associated with Adley. I am amazed at who is in this room today. I would like to thank all of the other distinguished dance community that has come to support this event. Med Speech, they provided all the refreshments for us, not entertainment, we're doing that. And also Susie Diaz, our executive director, and Rick Blackwell. Any of the local people here would know, Rick is with CBS 12. And he's kind enough to come in and give his time as well to present this program. Before Susie comes up, I just wanted to give a little bit of a background about this particular program. This started, I think we started planning for this back in 2011. Adley had been coming to Bach and had been doing master classes and workshops during the school year. And the foundation was trying to find a way to continue that on for the children in the summer and also to open it up to children outside of the Bach community. We worked on this for, gosh, a good 2 years, and last summer, the summer of 2013, we presented our first annual Adley Summer Reptudes. I'm pronouncing that correctly. So we are so happy to have this relationship, and we are looking to continue this relationship with others in the community as well. So I'm going to turn this over to Susie Diaz, our executive director of the foundation, who has done an amazing job working with Adley and putting this all together. So thank you.
This is so exciting. I just want to also share how excited we are to be able to have this opportunity in Palm Beach County. Not just these two, and I've been calling you dance royalty. These two amazing women, but the entire Adley team who have, probably cumulatively, you probably bring what, about 100, maybe 150 years of combined experience? That's a lot of experience that that's a lot of experience that this youth gets to participate with and work directly with. And one of the neat things, and I'm not sure if you noticed as you were making your way around the rooms, is the ratio of this program has always been kept at around a 3-to-1 ratio. So they are working intimately with all of these amazing artists, and thank you for being here. I also want to thank Med Speech. They had to leave early, but thank you, Med Speech, for helping us today. And I want to introduce Rick Blackwell, who he has been anchoring news for over 20 years. He started when he was 3. And he is also part of the education network for the school district, and is kind enough to lend his talents here today to help us moderate this Q&A. And he has helped the foundation in the past, helping us with his voiceover talent as well. He's been nominated for 2 Emmy Awards and has won several awards for his reporting. The show that he does on the county's district education network profiles amazing student athletes inside of our school system. He loves spending time with his beautiful wife, Meredith, and their 4 children. Most important about this is that they are a Bach family. Enjoys running and playing basketball and coaching youth sports and following the Detroit teams, really?
Yeah.
So we're honored to have you here today, and thank you, Rick. Without further ado, Mr. Rick Blackwell.
Sorry for the grand entrance here. I was kind of working the camera too. I don't want to make it like a big late night talk show or anything. Well, this is really nice and great to see everybody. And again, thanks for this opportunity. And so nice to see both of you. We're just going to have a little chat and hope you guys can join in on the conversation as well. But as Susie mentioned, I do work for the school district and put together the show Good Sports. We had a couple of dance stories this year. This is sort of foreign territory as a reporter, but at the same time, I love diving into new and exciting things and who can be inspired and also feel passionate about what you guys are doing with the young people in in our community, and it's so great to kind of walk around the different studios and see the children in action, the teenagers in action. Also, I will be putting this on the news this weekend as well, so it's covering. And so it will be on the CBS newscast, I believe, either Saturday or Sunday morning. So we'll make sure that we broadcast the outstanding things that you guys are doing in the community. So really wanted to thank you again for being here. And because I have been in the business for 20 years, and it wasn't when I was 3, I'm going to put these on. Give you a little background about these two exceptional ladies right here. And again, it's just such our honor to have them here. And first we're going to start with Carla. Carla joined the Limon Dance Company in 1965. She soon became a principal dancer under Limon's direction. In 1975, served as assistant artistic director under Ruth Currier. And Carla was appointed artistic director in '78. During her tenure, the company has emerged as one of the finest repertory dance ensembles in the world. She received the 1995 Dance Magazine Award and the 1998 New York Dance and Performance Bessie Award for finding a creative present in the context of a revered past, and thereby offering choreographic opportunity to multiple generations of artists for inspired leadership and artistic accomplishment. Acclaimed as a brilliant dramatic dancer, Maxwell has danced many major roles with the company, including the title role in Carlotta, Limon's final ballet that he choreographed for her. She's responsible for many of the company's reconstructions of Limon's dances, and as a choreographer, she has created works for the company and regional companies throughout the United States. She teaches internationally as both a representative of the company and a guest artist in residence. So put your hands together for Carla.
I try to forget it. It's always the work today.
Yeah, there you go. And then, of course, we want to introduce Carolyn Adams. Adam's co-founder and creator of the repertory Etudes concept. She was a principal dancer with the Paul Taylor Company from 1965 to '82. She's a current board member. She's a founding artistic director of the New York State Summer School of the Arts School of Dance and co-founder of the Harlem Dance Foundation. She's a graduate of Sarah Lawrence College. She holds an MSW from Fordham University. Adams, faculty at the Juilliard School, is currently also on the faculty at the Alvin Ailey School, where she teaches tailor-based technique and serves as an advisor to the Ailey Fordham BFA Juniors. Adams has authored multiple published articles on arts education and has served on numerous panels, including the National Endowment for the Arts, and she chaired Dance USA's National Task Force on Dance Education. In 2009, she received the Dewey Bent.
Good luck.
Yeah! She received a really great award from the American Dance Festival. She's married to former Paul Taylor dancer Robert Kahn. They have 2 kids, Sandra, and I got the pronunciation on this, Vitali. Outside of dance, Adams enjoys writing and researching esoteric topics. She most enjoys watching Law and Order marathons. What are some of the esoteric topics that you enjoy researching?
Well, what I enjoy is I love the internet. So it could be trivia or it could be something just very hard to find, and I like finding it. It's more that it's random and I can research instantaneously. I'm kind of addicted to that process.
You like to
I'll
surf,
check
huh?
that out.
That's pretty cool. Well, obviously this week the dancers from Palm Beach County have had the opportunity to learn to these pioneers, and of course Carla and also Carolyn, we really appreciate everything that you're doing for the kids. And let's first get into it. Just tell me about the experiences that you had with these young people today. Just how beneficial is it, and just what a great opportunity it is for these young people.
It's a great opportunity for us also, because they're the future. And today's my first day working here. I came midway. My colleague Roxanne Just, who's our artistic associate, has been with them from Monday. It's a very short stint to impart something, but if we can ignite something in their imagination and give them freedom to explore, that's maybe the most important thing. We don't expect anybody, even a professional, to master something in this short a time. But it's more about sharing and opening windows for the kids. And we feel that's been a paramount thing, education for us in sharing the work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
You know, you mentioned some of the dance grades that the kids are working with, and so let's just introduce them. If you guys could stand up. Julie Adams, Strandberg. Laura Bennett, I know is working with the children.
think we're celebrating our 68th year, and Jose was only at the helm for 25 years. He died probably one of the youngest people to leave this field in his career. So it's pretty soon it'll be almost twice as long without him as with him. But I think that's a testament to the work, but it's also a testament to the fact that we have creative artists who are interested in education. And we have, I don't know, what generation are we on, Roxanne? We're trying to figure out the third or fourth. Somewhere there, but then inspiring new people, because it's, we wouldn't do what we do, or Carolyn wouldn't do, or Adley what we're doing. These are longtime colleagues. I think even before Adley was formed, we've been discussing these kinds of projects since the 90s, 1990s.
Well, Karen, what's your impression been since you've had a chance to work with these young people?
Well, first of all, it's really important for me and for me to share the fact that the art of dance is something that should, and actually, you have to kind of prevent people from engaging in the arts in general. So it's a perfectly natural thing that this is a multi-generational pursuit. And the expectations are for the same level of engagement, whether we're working with a 12-year-old or a 20-year-old. I have to say that we're not always in situations where the training that the students have is so spectacular and profound. So that these are really young artists. They know how to focus, they are engaged, they're knowledgeable. And so that really ups the ante for everyone, because you can see that when young people are taken seriously, it's not playtime when they're dancing. It's fun, it's engaging, but it's a very important thing, and I think part of the Adley mission is really to look at the potential at every age and in every corner, and to make no assumptions about what people can and cannot do. And so it's really very much to the point that they are being exposed to some of the greatest dance works ever made, and they are engaging with them. This is basic literacy.
You know, one of the key things in being a teacher, and you touched on being, whether it's 12 or 20, is that level of expectation. So when you talk to the kids and the teachers talk to the children, what do you want them to sort of grasp after your opportunities with them? What are the level of expectations, and what do you want them to take away from the week?
I'm hoping they're open enough to receive, and however they receive it, it's going to affect them down the road. I don't think we can judge right now what it will become in the long term, but even just observing the teaching that I'm not doing, I see that the children are fully engaged and wanting to learn and wanting to be involved and wanting to open themselves. And their sense of discipline and focus is already there, which is a gift that will be with them for the rest of their lives, whether they dance or not. I had one of the most profound experiences years ago. I was working in Dallas, and a colleague of mine who was at the same company, I was setting one of Jose's works, and he said, "Do you want to come watch my Aikido class tomorrow?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Well, these two young kids are taking their test before." And he said, "So you'll have to wait through that." And I said, "Fine." And these two young children came in. I think the girl was 14, and she already had her whatever belt it was he was trying to get. And she was going to be his partner, and they came in with total respect, greeted the sensei, and they went through, I can't remember, in my mind it gets longer and longer, it probably wasn't that long. But the focus and concentration that they had brought me to tears, because I thought, if this child never does this again in his life, he's had the experience of giving himself totally, completely, 100% to something, with discipline and focus, and it will serve him no matter what he chooses. And it's the same with these kids. If they, and I think I see it already, they're willing and they have the capacity. The longer we could be with them, the better, but in this short time, it's wonderful. It's already, there's a synergy. And I know that they're each going to take something away that will help them in the future, whether they dance or not. Because I think the arts serve more than the purpose of being an artist.
Carolyn, you've worked with so many great dancers. Do you enjoy the opportunity to work with young people that are just sort of starting and embracing and going forward? And tell me, as a teacher, how do you sort of handle that professional, at the same time dealing with somebody that's just kind of,
Well,
starting?
the entry point to understanding is not linear. So it's like anything else, you need to find the points of contact. It's not, the beginning is not a time issue, it's a depth issue. So it's really, I think good teaching is sort of like good choreography. A good choreographer is imagining the dance in the way that you would imagine what you want to see coming from your students. But a good choreographer, like a good teacher, is also really discerning what's in front of their face at any given moment and responding to that. That's what I feel about good teaching. But what Carla was saying reminded me of the fact that this passion that we have for imparting this knowledge, a knowledge of how to focus, a knowledge of how to engage, comes from the fact that I think we as a generation got that from our elders. Older people who were very well established in the field invested in us. And they encouraged us to become ourselves through this medium. So it's really kind of in our DNA. It's not like we suddenly decided to work with young people because we were the young people. People were taking us seriously. Our parents took us seriously and our teachers took us seriously. So it's really part of culture, don't you think? Yeah.
As you look in your dance career, what do you think has been the key to being, and you've had people that have taught you and you've taught people, what has been some of the key characteristics of why they were successful as a teacher? And do you sort of carry that legacy on?
I think you have to reinvent it every day because no situation, even with the same people. You can have a structure and a skeleton, but we always find we're deviating from it depending on what's happening before you, because someone might need information they didn't get the day before, and you have to find a way to translate that, but then you want to include everyone else. I agree totally with Carolyn. It's not a linear process. It's not like if you memorize this vocabulary, you'll be able to speak the language. You have to practice it, and then you have to find the context, and then, because dance is a language.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the work that you're doing with the kids this week? What specifically are you talking to them about?
Well, I have two classes. I have them all in one session, and then I have a smaller repertory group. And I'm teaching them movements based on Paul Taylor repertoire. I'm not teaching them a piece. That would be impossible in this time frame. That's a whole other process. But over the years and teaching different kinds of populations, one begins to certain phrases and concepts emerge as being sort of quintessential elements of a person's philosophy about dance. And so that's seeped into I've known the man for 50 years, danced for almost 20 and still very close. I know I've got some of the DNA. And so what I try to impart to them through their Paul Taylor phrases, I kind of made a little collage, and then I taught a little tiny section from one of the pieces. But we're talking about movement ideas, movement motifs, movement ideas. So I'm teaching them, to pick up what Carla said, I'm teaching them aspects of the language of Paul Taylor's work. I'm teaching them some of the inflection in that language. And that is, what did Betsy say? An app. It's a way of having somebody fully understand a movement concept or a dynamic or a phrase or something like that. And understanding inflection allows you to apply that in other situations. So in terms of the experience beyond this one, it's expanding their way of understanding the language again. I don't know how else to put it. And we're doing it through steps and phrases, but there's a broader purpose. I did want to focus on Paul Taylor's choreographic genius in the use of space and patterns. I find in teaching in general that even when people have a very strong technique, most people don't really have great spatial awareness. They sort of can't distinguish the diagonal from the flat line. Focus doesn't necessarily go with the direction. all of those things that make them very specific, the tiniest little gesture, sensitizing them to that. Musicality and speed. Those are three basic Taylor principles that I'm trying to impart through these hopefully fun challenge. And I'm pushing them because they're pushable. These
Right.
students are very, I told them, I said, I'm going to correct it until it's just beyond anything that any of us could ever imagine. And they're with us.
They've been great.
Wonderful.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna ask one more question, so make sure you guys come up with some of your own
I
questions
just
here.
want to add to what Carolyn's saying, because Jose was older than Paul, but they're both, we're going to talk about them tomorrow, but they both came out of an aesthetic. One of Jose's mentors, Doris Humphrey, was influential in Paul's inspiration. But the idea of form, musicality, and use of space, gesture are paramount in Winghoff's choreography also, and he used them for different purposes. But I think in today's market, what we see is a lot of competition dance, and we don't see a lot of great composition. We don't see a lot of great musicality or differences in musicality. The music is usually a wash, and so to be theatrical, whether you're going to do drama or comedy or pure dance, the specificity, that's a hard word, is very important. And I think it's just like a musician will study the classics in order to play the new work, and one feeds the other. And we're way behind in this genre of dance, which is why I'm forever grateful to these ladies for creating the whole Adley project, which I've been involved near the beginning, and I feel honored to do that because I think it's one of the most important things we can give the future of our children.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay.
I think so.
No, from my end, yeah, from my end. I just wanted, we hadn't had a chance to say that Paul Taylor was a great admirer of Jose. He used to sneak in and watch rehearsals, right? And Jose would say, "Come in, my boy."
Yes.
Right? And
I
so
did tell you that.
Jose was born in 1908, and Paul was born in 1930. So there's a little bit of a generation thing. But we were all dancers together, and so we shared that. I think that just to further accentuate what Carla was saying about all of us having mentors, and Doris Humphrey certainly was Jose's mentor, and Paul Taylor has just expanded a new initiative, and he's going to be looking at trying to bring historic great works to the stage as part of his company season. So next March, and you're the first ones to know, the Limon Company will be performing Doris Humphrey's Passacaglia with the Taylor Company at Lincoln Center. We were told not to tell, but then I keep hearing it on the street, so I
And we'll both be arrested if we do the boo-boo, but it's okay now, you know.
You got it on tape too.
They said don't tell anybody, and then I walked out on the street and was, oh, it's so great, Passacaglia. So we're telling you.
Well, let's open it up. Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask?
What is what ADLEY stands for? Just use the acronym.
American Dance Legacy Initiative. And Adley really started out of a need for the field to address three converging ideas: access, education, and preservation. And most of the things that we do in our mission is really clustered around trying to bring those three things together. And the initial slogan was, if you don't know about it, you won't value it, and if you don't value it, you won't preserve it or pass it on. So everything that we do is really about the convergence of those three ideas. So we're talking about preserving work. How is it going to get preserved? There are different ways we do documentaries and all kinds of things. But the main thing is looking at dance and the importance of the oral tradition. In fact, that's where all this generational thing. We teach the young people. The elders taught us, and it continues. Finding ways to make things accessible to the broadest population, lifelong learning, varying degrees of ability and disability, that no one should be left out of this life-giving, life-sustaining thing. So the programs, the initiatives that come out of that fundamental core philosophy. Does that answer your question?
Fast. Other questions from the floor? Go ahead.
I don't really have a question, but I do have a comment. My name is Kathleen Klein, and I'm the chair of the Department of Dance at Palm Beach Atlantic University. In 2006, we had an American Masterpieces grant to have the Lone Company stage There Was a Time. And Alice Cundadina, although she was not part of that league, I wish that she had that, because it was just absolutely amazing for you to have come here and make this wonderful experience for these kids. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well,
Our pleasure.
Yes.
Well, based on the success you've had so far, I was wondering if you were considering expanding any other sorts of famous choreographers into the Adley experience.
I think you should have, I think you should speak.
Fluff, I'll say off camera. You should speak.
Yeah, there you speak. Well, here's the thing. So, I can answer this question, but when you have the horses' mouths in the room, it seems appropriate. Go on.
I guess I don't quite understand your question. I mean, it does go, just to make sure you're clear, the Limon isn't the only work we currently have of the artists that we work with. So we do work with a range of artists already.
Okay.
So do you want me to say who those artists are? Yeah, so we have, so fill in if I forget, but Donald McHale, David Parsons, Anna Sokolow, Sophie Maslow, if I do them in order, Robert Battle, Danny Borocheski, Pearl Primus, I'm at 8. So Danny Grossman.
Okay.
So we have, from all of those artists, we haven't really said what a repertory etude is, but these are short pieces that kind of are similar to how you study scene study or variations. You get to, the other art forms really enable that access for anybody. I mean, you can sing in the shower, right? There's like kind of that immediacy. And so these ladies felt that was really missing in our field, particularly in the modern field. It's a challenge to do this for a number of reasons. One is the oral tradition. It's harder to mass produce dance in the way that you can't write it down in the same way and as easily a shareable way as you can with the music and the written word. It's time consuming and labor intensive, and there's I'm sure most of the people in this room are friendly to this concept, but there actually is a fair amount of resistance to the level of access that we were proposing. Some people really feel that it should be kept in and not shared. So that's another thing that we've had to confront. So we are looking long-term to working with other artists as well, but we sort of also have our hands full in a sense too with the artists that we're working with, and we really kind of had to jump in. There was a lot of disbelief that what we proposed would actually work. And now now that we sort of just jumped in, there are things that we're trying to fine tune. So that's why we really have these partnerships with these artists, and we're really looking to work deeply and look at, it's not a free-for-all, right? So we want access, but there's a rigorous piece to that. So that probably answers your question and more.
Anybody else? Yes?
Well, I'm Martha Satinoff from Here for Bach, and I just wanted to say a little bit more about what Laura was saying, that when we first met up, and we were going to do a David Parsons piece, and over the years, this is the 7th year that we've worked with them, just seeing how the Adley is not just come in and teach this piece, but they have a full methodology. They teach them the warm-up, gears them for the movement they're going to learn in the piece. So it's different than usually you invite a guest choreographer in, they try to put their work on you, and then they leave. But here, there's a whole, like, training us to continue that methodology with the students. So I think that answers that question about the access too. So we're really appreciative of that, because I think it's helped us grow as teachers as well.
Anyone else? Well, thank you to you both. I really appreciate being able to have a chance to talk to you and to Adley and to the MSOA Foundation for giving this amazing opportunity to the dancers. And we're going to have some light refreshments afterwards and a chance to meet you both. And so thanks to everybody for attending today. Thanks so much.